Welcome back to Salem News Channel. I had to tell you, I love national religious broadcasters. I'm a member, and the National Religious Broadcasters Association has released its five-part NRB and Barna Group report on the state of Christian media. The report found that Christian media holds a significant presence in American life, and the data paints a picture of a movement that is not only growing, but is also shaping the future of media. More than 60% of American adults report consuming Christian media in some form, whether through television, radio, podcasts, news websites, or social media, or even YouTube. 28% of Christian media users are heavy users, consuming an average of more than six platforms on a weekly basis and more than two different platforms every day. NRB President and CEO Troy A. Miller reacted to the report, stating, "This report confirms what many of us in Christian media have sensed for years. People aren't just tuning in, they're relying on Christian content to shape their worldview, strengthen their faith, and find direction in a world flooded with noise and uncertainty." He couldn't be more right about that. He's joining me now to discuss. President and CEO of National Religious Broadcasters, Troy Miller. Welcome back, Troy.
Oh, great to be with you again. Thanks, Stacy.
All right, so let's talk about this. First of all, I consider this report to be an amazing and resounding success, something that you celebrate annually at your convention for national religious broadcasters. Huge attendance this year. And then there's even more. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, this report is a big success and a big confirmation that Christian media is alive and well today in the society. So when we did this, that one of the keys to this too, we asked people, their use of Christian media outside of their home church. So not to include their home church, not their pastor's sermons, and to think that 60% of the general population is tuning in every day. And not only that, Stacy, they're tuning in at rates that far exceed any other medium.
So one of the things that encourages me for is here at Salem, we're a Christian broadcaster and we do have a lot of people watching what we're doing and responding to our work here. But it's the message, Troy, that I think is so important. It's one of faith and family and courage and our nation and also of truth. I think that's what's missing from the traditional media outlets that I know my parents watched. As a kid, it was always ABC, CBS, or NBC. That's what I saw on the television as a kid. Now, those outlets really don't reflect my worldview.
Right. This is a real rejection of the secular, mainstream media worldview out there. It tells us that they're not, people are looking at that and it's not fulfilling what they need. Look, the interesting thing was that 66% of Americans, again, 66% of Americans found Christian media valuable and trustworthy. We all know if you're watching any of the mainstream numbers in there, mainstream legacy media would love to get out of the teens right now. So it's a real rejection of the messages they're hearing in the mainstream media today. And it just shows you how far out of touch mainstream media is with the general population.
It does. And then there's also like the things that are going on politically, how it used to be that politics was just it was like one channel, right? You would they would
Right.
have some politics in a news report. They would have some politics on a daytime television show, right? They'd call it top of the hour news. Now the whole show is politics. I remember I'm old enough to remember, Troy, when The View on ABC was a news interest show, like not news, but it was like culture,
Yeah.
fashion, food, hair, makeovers, and then one segment called Hot Topics. And now the whole show is politics and disinformation.
Yeah, and I think because of that, one of the things we saw in the survey as well was that the number one reason that people were tuning into Christian media was for encouragement and hope. And that was the number one reason. I think they tune into so many shows today, as you said, they've been either overly politicalized, and it's not a neutral political message either. It's a propaganda message. It's all leaning in one direction. And so the news, the mainstream media is so full of despair and so full of hate and depression. People are turning into and saying, "Look, I need some hope and encouragement out of life," and they're finding it in Christian media.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They are really negative. There's that big study that came out this week that shows that people on the left have a higher level of mental illness. And in scripture, it actually tells us that we're supposed to focus on what is good, beautiful, truthful, honest. We're supposed to focus on good things to help strengthen our minds. And we're supposed to read scripture to strengthen our intellect and our ability to reason. If you don't ever focus on scripture, and let's face it, ABC, NBC, CBS, they're not going to have those kind of things on their content. They won't even acknowledge
Right.
that biblical scripture is good for you, that it feeds you. It's no wonder Christian communications are booming.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's all that negative. And look, the other thing about it is the old stereotype of the people that watch Christian television, watch Christian media. These are the older generations, the baby boomers, the X Geners. That's not true. So our study showed that 64% of Gen Z is listening, tuning into Christian media. 58% of the millennials. Now, a lot of that is on social media, but that's really encouraging that they're looking for that message and they're going out to the social media platforms and they're finding it.
Yeah, and you know what, Troy? The reason for that is because I'm Gen X, I'm locked in, but I have kids who are they're technically Gen Z. So when we're talking, I point them to Christian media. But what's more interesting is they tell me about new content producers that
Right.
are bringing truth. They'll tell me, "Oh, you're not watching so and so," or my daughter pebbles me. All in a contest as to which of us can send more links. She sends me things on Instagram, and I click through, and it is Christian content, but it doesn't look Christian. It looks like Gen Z. It's young people, they're speaking truth and they're funny, and I find really great content that way. I actually love it because it saves me work, like digging it up for myself. She literally digs it up for me, Troy. So yeah, these young people want the same thing. They want to be hopeful.
Yeah, they want to be hopeful. They want to understand how to interact in the world today. They're rejecting the messages they're hearing on these platforms. And they look, the other thing, the number two reason, they want to know how to love God better and people and how to be a better Christian. I mean, so they're not just tuning in, they're tuning in so it changes their lives.
I love that. And I'm very excited about the work that um, Christian broadcasters are doing and about the aggregation of that powerhouse together in national religious broadcasters. It's a place where Christian broadcasters and communicators and people who are want to be in that space can really find a home. It's nrb.org. I recommend that you go there. Troy Miller, have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
All right, good to see you. And coming up next, Sunny Hostin tells the biggest lie about the elimination of USAID. And so, in other news, it's Friday. I'll tell you more when we get back. Stay with us.
Yep, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down. Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already called CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protected with a plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing covered when you got a plan through CarShield. Next, you'll probably need to get around while your vehicle's being repaired, right? 2. Plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3. When you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your covered repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late. When you call CarShield, whether you got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars, you're taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car or truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield now.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800 811 4564. 800 811 4564.